What's going on, guys? Game Taco for the win here, and today I'm going to teach you how to kill something a little bit different. It's an underwater monster. It's called a Gobul, and this is actually a 4-star quest, I believe. It is called the Accident Investigation, hunt a Gobul in the flooded forest. So just to show you my gear real fast, I have the Twin Acris, which is a lightning dual blade. The Gobul is actually weak to that, and I also have my regular Jaggy gear. Nothing has really changed there. So anyway, I'm going to eat real fast, and I'll just go with my typical buffalo butter and heaven bread. So that'll give me a little bit of extra defense and health. That's always welcome. So let's go ahead over here and buy some equipment that we might be able to use. Just going to top off my herbs and my potions and deodorant. What's that? Okay, well, you don't really need anything else. You don't need any drinks or anything since this is just in the forest. So I guess that's it. Let's go ahead and depart on this quest and kill the Gobul. Now, I really don't like Gobul. I think he's annoying to fight, and I was really not looking forward to this video. But if you couldn't tell, I'm recording the voiceover after I played this because I didn't want to lose focus when I was fighting this guy. So let's go ahead and get out of here and fight this thing. It is in Area 4. But what we're going to do is we're going to fish him out, which is actually a really good strategy if you want to get some decent hits in. So let's go head on over to 2. And then over in this corner, by the entrance to Area 4, there's a plant. I'm walking over there now. So you just gather at this plant, and you might find a worm first like I did. But what you're looking for is a frog. And this frog will serve as the bait for the Gobul, which will be in Area 4. So you just come over here. Make sure you select the frog. So you just cast out that frog. And this will get the Gobul's attention, and eventually he will bite onto it, and he'll get flung up onto the land, and you'll have a bunch of free hits. So, as you can see, that's a hell of a fight. So, now he's behind me, running over to this guy, and just going crazy on him. Alright, so the thing about Gobul is that he's not really that hard to fight. He's just kind of annoying because whenever he gets angry, he inflates, and it's harder to hit him really because he's faster. But right now he's not angry because I just pulled him out. So what I like to do for this guy is I usually try to sit in front of him or sit behind him and try to cut his tail off. I do get hit a lot during this fight, but that's just because I'm not very good at avoiding this guy for some reason. What I like to do is I just sit up by one of his front legs and just attack him, like underneath his chin and around his chest and things like that. I also go after his tail a lot. His tail is carvable, actually. You can cut it off, and that'll give you a mat for his armor. But many of his attacks actually focus on either to his sides or directly in front of him. I think the attacks that hit things directly in front of him are easier to avoid and are easier to predict. So that's why I like to stay in front of him. He likes to do this side roll off to if you're attacking his side, and that usually always ends up hitting me. So I usually try to stay away from there. You gotta watch out for the bugs too. As you can see, I just got paralyzed. Here's that roll I was talking about. I narrowly avoided that. So I also like to sit behind him on and just attack his tail, because his tail is like, I don't know, he doesn't really defend his tail that well. As you can see, he just went underground. Whenever that happens, just try to run away until he comes back up, because he'll try to leap out and attack you. He also has his blinding little lantern thingy, as you can see. Alright, so like 3 different attacks just went off. Don't have enough time to explain them all. Basically, he could light the entire area with his lantern, and then it'll make you dizzy if you get caught by it, so I usually just run away from him and roll as it lights up. The second attack you saw was his tail sweep, and if you get hit by that, that'll actually paralyze you. I get hit by that a couple times in this video. So, it's kind of hard to avoid if you are trying to cut his tail off, but he doesn't seem to do it that often, so I don't really have that many problems with it. But the reason I like to go after his tail is because a lot of his side roll attack will usually miss you if you are attacking his tail, because the spikes won't actually hit you on his back. So he went into the water now. As you can see, he's inflated, so he's pretty angry. It doesn't do good to strike his back when he's inflated like that, because it just kind of bounces off, as you can see. Underwater, he's like many of his moves are kind of similar. As you can see, he just went underwater, or underground, underwater. And whenever that happens, you just want to get away from him as fast as possible, because he has several moves that'll really, really hurt. Just try to stay away from him when he goes underwater, or underground when he's underwater. Other than that, alright, yeah, as you can see, I just got hit by one of his underground attacks. He likes to do that. You could actually see where he's at with the little mound on the ground. What he's doing now is like this weird suction move. Do not get hit by this. Whatever you do, just please do not, because it does a ton of damage, and it will probably kill you. A lot of his moves underwater are like the ones that he just did, which is basically a roll forward with the spikes out. It's not too hard to avoid at all. What I tend to do is I try to attack underneath his belly, and that'll hurt him a lot more than attacking like his tail or his back. So whenever he does this, just try to swim away. If you get far enough away, you could actually use that time to sharpen your weapons like I'm doing, or heal yourself. So he does have several breakables. You could cut his tail off, and you could also break his little glowy lantern thing that dangles in front of his face. Breaking the lantern is actually kind of easy if you have a strong weapon like a hammer or something. But the hardest thing about it is actually hitting the lantern, because he moves around all the time, and you really need to have kind of pinpoint accuracy to actually hit it. It helps if you have stun traps, or shock traps rather, pitfall traps, or like you can paralyze him or something. But his tail is just you just whack at his tail until it falls off, basically. I actually don't cut his tail off in this video, unfortunately, but it was probably close to coming off, so for what it's worth. Anyway, I think that's about it for this video, or for explaining what the Gobul does, rather. He's going over to 1 right now. 1 is a land area, so the fight goes back onto land. So I'll just show you some extra gameplay of me fighting him on land again, and I'll probably fast forward until he gets injured, and that way we could show him dying. Okay, so this guy is actually injured right now. So, usually what happens is he goes up over to Area 8, and he sits in the water there, and he sleeps. So, let's go ahead and head up there and finish this guy off. So if you dive into the water in Area 8, you'll see those bubbles down there. That's actually him. He's actually asleep underground. A good way to get some damage in on him is to activate your demon mode if you have dual swords, or some sort of charging weapon. That'll actually, if you attack him, he'll actually get knocked down. You get a couple hits in on him. Now this guy's just about dead. You just have to watch out for those blue drops, because they will interrupt you and they will attack you. But they do die quick enough, so that's always good. So I'm trying to cut his tail off right now, but I got paralyzed because of the tail whip. And as you can see, I'm just getting massacred by the blue drops. So I'm just going to continue attacking him, trying to lop his tail off or attack his belly, because his weak area is his belly. So that always helps. And he is dead. So that was a weird camera angle. Anyway, now you can carve him. Unfortunately, I did not break any of his breakables, but, you know, we'll take what we can get. Anyway, this is a Game Taco for the win video tutorial how to kill Gobul on this quest, Accident Investigation, I believe it's called. So if this video has been at all helpful in any way, please feel free to subscribe, check out my channel for other Monster Hunter tutorial videos, and other gameplay videos as well for Wii U and a whole bunch of other consoles and retro games. Anyway, I will see you guys later.